Welcome to Style DNA, the podcast I created to uncover the lives behind the looks of your favourite well-known faces and help unveil their style DNA. As a designer, I've always been inspired by the premise that wearing the right pieces should make you feel the best version of yourself, gorgeous and confident, and that these pieces should be designed and crafted for longevity. I'm delighted to share that this episode is supported by Karen Millen, a brand that has a 42-year legacy in the world of fashion. Their commitment to affordable luxury and making investment pieces accessible has truly stood the test of time. Whether you're searching for a timeless winter coat that will serve you for years to come, or an elegant evening dress, you'll find both classic and modern designs that are perfect for refreshing your wardrobe for the season ahead. Online at karenmillen.com. Head over to my Instagram for a link to a special treat for listeners. Today, I'm going on a sartorial journey with iconic hairstylist Sam McKnight, who is renowned for creating the hair looks that every woman wants. From his signature cool girl, effortlessly undone textured hair to his fashionably timeless, elevated looks that reflect his rebellious spirit, to his handmade couture wigs, to red carpet sophistication. As Kate Moss says, Sam has the magic touch. Sam's unparalleled portfolio of work reads like a who's who of high fashion and A-list celebrity. From Princess Diana to the supermodels Linda Evangelista, Christy Turlington, Kate Moss and Naomi Campbell. Sam has presided over iconic fashion moments of the past 4 decades and continues to be responsible for culture-defining hair looks that make him one of the most in-demand artists. To date, Sam's work has included over 200 Vogue covers, campaigns for Chanel, Tom Ford, Fendi, Louis Vuitton, Dior and Armani, editorial shoots in collaboration with great image makers such as Nick Knight, Irving Penn, Tim Walker and Sol Sundsbo. Season after season, he influences the evolution of hair at runway shows for Chanel, Vivienne Westwood, Moschino, Dries Van Noten, Fendi, Richard Quinn and Balmain. In collaborations with artists such as Charlotte Tilbury, Val Garland, Mary Greenwell, Pat McGrath and Peter Phillips. In 2017, Sam launched a product range, Hair by Sam McKnight. And in 2023, he was awarded an MBE for services to the fashion and beauty industries. Wow. Hello and welcome, Sam.
Oh, that was a bit of a mouthful, wasn't it?
It's quite a mouthful, but what an amazing catalogue of work. I mean, absolutely incredible. I feel quite humbled to be sitting here in your presence. And I know you're a man that keeps himself really super busy. But what are the projects that you're most excited about at the moment?
At the moment, I mean, we've just kind of did a major relaunch last year. And we added care to our collection. So we've spent the last year really sort of honing our production company and our product company, rather. And that's pretty much a full-time job. That keeps us so busy because it's never ending. The demand for content is like a giant, great white shark, isn't it? Just eats up content. So we have an amazing studio that we moved into a couple of years ago, which is a photo studio, and so we're set up there all the time. So we can just go in and we can react to some news or something straight away. When I can go in and film myself, or we can get a model in at the last minute, or one of the team, because I think it's all about the content, isn't it? So as well as doing the fashion shows, the photo shoots, the red carpets, we've now added our own content library to our weekly chores.
It is relentless, isn't it? But I do love the way that you're teaching people. She says, "Look at my hair today."
Yeah, looks great.
How to do the hair, and I think that's just brilliant.
Well, the whole idea of when we started the product company was I wanted to kind of demystify the hair world and take the negative conversation away and make it more positive, because people would sit in my chair and say, "Oh, my hair is the worst thing," because they've been told that their hair is really bad. And most people's hair isn't really bad. It's just you haven't been doing it properly. I have a thing in my head where people are they're given a negative conversation about their hair and not focusing on the positive, and they're given so it's kind of feeding on people's insecurities. Whereas I'm all about the opposite of making the absolute best of what you have, because that's all we've got, really. So you might as well make the best of it. It's not about feeling bad about what you don't have. It's about feeling good about what you do have and how to make the best of what you have and how not to be kind of threatened by the perfection you see online. Because there's all this idea of you must be this perfect, but that's not the case for most people. Because, and also all that perfection is probably filtered or fake somehow. And I think I want to make my products about products that actually work very easily, very simply, and very quickly. So we're trying to take the sort of the drama and the negativity out of the conversation.
So which would be your hero product in the range?
Our hero product is our Cool Girl texture spray. We've called it Barely There Texture Mist because it's super light, it's super effective, it's instant, it's a great volumizer, it's a great texturizer. It does lots of different things, but it's that kind of thing where if you have sort of fine hair, you just washed it, you can't do a thing with it. A few spritzes of that will give it a bit of oomph. And I think that's all some people need sometimes. They don't want a big do, or they don't want to spend an hour on it. Literally 30 seconds will do it. So that's our leader.
So I could just in the evening before going out.
You could, absolutely, yeah.
Squirt this in.
Yeah, I mean,
I have
you
the
blow
full
dry.
Sam McKnight
absolutely,
look.
just do it upside down, a few spritzes, and then you kind of keep sort of. I mean, I'm doing it on my own hair, obviously. You kind of just keep reactivating with your hands. Go to the loo, put your head upside down, shake your hands a little, out you come.
God, I love the sound of that.
Yeah.
Now, I also read about these wipes for our fringes or for the front of our hair.
We call them cleanse cloths. We stay away from the word wipes because it has all these negative connotations.
Okay, retake, cleanse cloths.
No, it's fine. But they are wipes, but they are completely biodegradable.
Yeah.
They'd been on the cards for a while, but we couldn't really do them because of the microplastic thing, and I wasn't really comfortable with that.
Just on hair, before we go on to you and your style, I know so many women who have complained about losing hair as a result of COVID. Do you think there are any really good anti-hair loss products out there?
I would say everyone's different. And I would say, yes, there are. But I would also say you need to go and see your doctor. I would say go and see a trichologist, go and see a specialist, or ask your own doctor, because quite often hair loss it's often menopausal, so there's often ways to treat that.
Yeah.
But it can often be diet. It can often be a vitamin deficiency. So it could be shock. It could be so many different things. There's not one cure fits all. It's not like it's very individual. I mean, I went to have some medical tests a year ago, and the receptionist had lost all her hair after COVID. You know, but it was coming. I could reassure her because she couldn't see, but I could see there was sort of an inch where it was coming back, but the ends of her hair were almost non-existent, and she that made her suffer from shock even more.
Yeah.
So it can be a vicious cycle, but it was coming back in. So I could say to her, that looks like it's from COVID, and it is coming back in. So everyone is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so at the forefront of fashion. What do you think is going to be the next major hair trend?
We've reached a point, I think, where it's almost unfashionable to follow trends. You know, it's about individuality, and that's come across in the fashion world in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
From fashion shows where before you'd have 100 girls all with the same hairstyle.
Yeah.
That has started to move into a much more healthy, diverse place. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because sometimes it's theatre, and if the costume demands that everyone has it, it's quite a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But it was the norm before, whereas I think now it's much more the norm to have many different types of women represented, or men, and I think that goes for hair and makeup too, because some people look great with a lot of makeup, some people don't. And I think we're in a very good place now where people are being encouraged to embrace their own individual looks. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
I'm not trying to avoid, because I just don't think, of course there's little micro trends of things here and there, and there always will be. But I think slavishly following fashion trends is terribly unfashionable. There, you can quote me on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you.
Especially in hair and beauty, because I think hair and makeup is so specific to the person and the person's needs.
Yeah. I mean, on that point, you famously created Princess Diana's iconic wet look hair for the CFDA Awards in New York, which I just thought was absolutely sensational at the time. And, the hair look was more talked about than the dress, which again was pretty unusual. How did that moment feel?
Well, I had slicked her hair back on various photo shoots with Patrick Demarchelier, over a few years. But she was always she was very aware of her public. She was very aware that the public wanted to see Princess Diana, and she knew the furore a change in a hairstyle would cause. So she was very careful about how and when she kind of did those. And that was one of her. It was New York, so I kind of, we got to kind of really sort of sharpen it up for New York. We got to keep changing. I'm a great believer in change, and come on, we can do this, and we did it. Yeah, and it was good. I mean, there are some pictures where she had her hair slicked back over the years, but that was the first time really in public,
Yeah. I mean, you worked as her personal stylist for 7 years. Did she ever ask your opinion on the clothes?
Oh God, yeah.
Clothes?
Oh well, yeah, absolutely. I met her in 1990, so 80s were kind of behind. And
thank God.
Yeah, well, but actually, when you look at all the 80s stuff now, it kind of, everything in retrospect, looks great. Youth, all that kind of stuff. But we were in 1990. We were August 1990 or July 1990, and I was just after I had met her on a shoot for Vogue. It ended up being a really sort of iconic image of I can't remember the designer. It's a strapless white silk gown, and Patrick sat her on the floor, and it was very informal. And we put a tiara on, and I made her hair look short.
Yeah.
But I didn't cut it. I made it look short, and the pictures are so great of big smile. I've got one as a fridge magnet now, which I treasure. And so at the end of the shoot, she asked me what I would do with her hair, and I said, you know what? It's 1990, maybe move into the 90s, because it had become the era. Because don't forget, I'd been working for Vogue for 13 years by then, so I was in the whole swing of the thing, and I think we got to, sharpen it up. We went to Paris just after that, because go back. We shot the white dress, and then she said, what would you do with my hair if I just said do anything? This was at the end of the shoot after we were finished, and she was so great. We had such a good day. She was so funny and lovely. And
she was
warm
fantastic to work
she was
with,
just
wasn't
great.
she?
We laughed a lot.
Yeah.
She had a great, irreverent, naughty sense of humor.
Definitely.
Anyway, so and those laughs in Patrick's pictures are really genuine,
Yeah.
because she didn't have a clue what he was saying, because you couldn't understand his accent, so I had to translate, and we were just peeing ourselves laughing, not literally. So I said, I just cut it all off and start again. So we cut it all off, short hair. Off I went to Paris, and the world kind of went insane for this new haircut. I mean, it took me by surprise because I wasn't particularly a royalist. I wasn't a big fan. I did, not that I wasn't a fan, but I just wasn't aware. And so anyway, then I got a call to say, would I come and do it again, and would I prepare to maybe do a few trips? And so I managed to balance that with my other high fashion life for 7 years, and that. My God, that was, when I think back, I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I managed to travel and get back.
It's called youth, Sam.
It's called youth. I wasn't that young, actually. I was in my 30s. It is called youth. You're absolutely. Anyway, so off we went to Paris. We shot the couture with Patrick, and Christy Turlington was wearing this really beautiful blue beaded Versace gown, and Christy said, my God, the princess would look amazing in that. So I took the Polaroid to her, and long story short, Anna Harvey and myself got her hooked up with Donatella, and they went on, and actually Gianni at the time, and he went on to make her the most fantastic, block color, acids, sharp, like pin sharp suits with this new short sort of, the power shoulders, business phase, which kind of, it was a big step from. I didn't know at the time the changes she was going through personally. But I guess it brought her into a new independent era. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, they always say that if you have major changes in your life as a woman, you sometimes change your hair with it.
Yeah.
And it strikes me that maybe, I wonder if the hair came first and then the style evolved after
I think
that.
it's probably all part of a general. I mean, she'd become 30. She was probably growing up, you know.
I know.
I
We
wish I
forget
was growing up at 30.
what a kid she was when she
absolutely.
walked down the aisle.
Absolutely. I mean, in life for all of us is about. I mean, the only constant in life is change, right? Yeah. And I'm a great believer and embracer of that, about not staying still and not staying the same. I mean, we can't, even if we try to, we can't.
Not a
it's
chance.
Get
but
you, isn't it?
I am actually a big believer in chapters. And that's a wonderful thing that we're
but it's
gifted.
nice when the chapters sort of evolve. Rather, what's not so nice is when you're abruptly forced into something, and when they evolve, it's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah,
beautiful, yes, and can be quite shocking. I can say personally, but today we're going on a personal style journey about you. So let's start with, how did you decide what you were wearing here today?
I was short sleeve shirts and shorts up until last week. I went to Sicily to a beautiful wedding at the weekend, which the weather was fantastic, and I came back and I thought, now it's time to get my long trousers and a jumper on, because the weather has been incredible. It's been amazing. Well, maybe not the middle of the summer, but the last couple of months has been amazing. So I have moved into sweater weather. Can't say that.
So
probably.
Who's your sweater?
My sweater is probably 20 years old, from Etro. And I used to do their shows. I think we used to get a discount, so I would go and buy some stuff. And I have a couple of these, which 20 years is not bad.
Gorgeous.
Is it? Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely gorgeous. You grew up in Scotland.
I did.
Were you exposed to fashion at a young age? Did you have a dapper dad?
No. I think, I mean, I'm from a very working class. I'm from a council estate in the middle of the beautiful Scottish lowland hills, which was surrounded by mining communities. My dad worked in a coal mine and my mum worked in the co-op till she retired. And I mean, we were really poor, but we didn't really know we were poor because everyone else was. So it was kind of normal for us. And we didn't really have much. We were okay. We were all right. We did not too bad. But I think I was born in 1955, so I'm the original television generation. So I have vivid memories. We didn't have a TV, but my granny had one, and it was the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Top of the Pops and Jukebox Jury and all that stuff. So we were fed by the media fashion and 60s. It was the 60s. It was the sort of birth, the rebirth of this country after the war, really. So we were fed this sort of amazing diet on TV of fashion and style. I mean, just constantly. I mean, UK was the most fashion forward stylist place to be in the 60s.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think back, there were shops in London like Biba and Chelsea Girls in the 60s. I mean, the high street fashion was in full swing.
When did you first come to London and discover fashion?
I came on holiday in the early 70s, but I had got really switched on to, I mean, Top of the Pops was our sort of, just the holy grail, wasn't it? And seeing David Bowie and Mark Bolan and people like that on Top of the Pops, switched on a light, and we would go to. I'm just 50 miles from Glasgow. We would make day trips to Glasgow to go to the boutiques and buy things, and we platform shoes like that size. So we were. I mean, I think UK is still like that. There are so many fashion tribes, and it's kids, teenagers. It's probably like that all over the world now. Are very into their look. You know,
and Glasgow is an incredibly fashionable
I mean,
city,
Scottish
isn't it?
people really are into fashion and beauty.
Yeah. But when would you say, do you remember a specific moment, a specific outfit that you put on that you went, God, I feel good in this?
God, I remember in early 70s wearing, and I bought an Oxford bags and a jacket with huge lapels and platform shoes. I'm talking that size. And just thought I was it, and I was learning to drive, and I had to take a pair of slippers to the driving lessons. I was 17. And I thought I looked fucking cool. I just looked great, I thought.
And
I probably did. I was young and thin,
That was your sort of light bulb fashion moment, would you say? When you started to think, God, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. I realized it could make you feel good,
Yeah.
Good clothes can make you feel good. I appreciate more and more as I got older, good quality clothes too, and clothes that last and 20 years,
You are obviously surrounded by fashion and glamour and style every day. Does this inspire your personal style?
I mean, I don't go through a rail on a shoot and pick things out and think, oh, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to buy it, because I don't think I'm not so much inspired by fashion as inspired by style, if that makes sense. I really admire people who can really throw something together and make it look really good on them. So fashion and style have become sort of, it's a bit of a fork in the road, whereas it used to go together. I think fashion in a way has become Instagram friendly, whereas style is perennial. Style is to last forever, and maybe it's an age thing, but I'm drawn to timeless style rather than seasonal fashion, if that makes sense. But I feel in the zeitgeist that the world is coming to that too, you know?
Yeah. Do you have a style icon?
I'm not sure I have a single icon, but when you see incredibly stylish images from the 70s, of Mick Jagger and Mick and Bianca Jagger, for instance, I mean, that just goes on forever, and I think that is really quite incredible how those have stood the test of time,
Those images have been on countless mood boards, haven't they?
Absolutely. And then there's Kate Moss, which brings me to Kate. So still, when we go to do a shoot or a show, there will be pictures of Kate on almost every. There'll be Mick Jagger and Bianca Jagger. There'll be a Twiggy and there'll be a Kate.
Yeah.
That's the kind of level Kate's influence has reached.
I mean, you have an incredibly close relationship with Kate, and
we've known each other a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, she's often quoted as saying you've got the magic touch, and you as creating her lovely,
Well, I'm not sure
effortless.
I created it, but I can't. I mean, it is her. It is. You know, she is that kind of epitome of style. You know,
Yeah,
she really is. She's got incredible style, and she's mostly vintage, to be honest.
yeah.
My friend used to be the PR at Bieber back in the day in the 70s. And one of her oldest friends, who was a Bieber girl too, passed away recently. And there were some clothes which were in perfect condition and they fitted Kate perfectly. And she looks absolutely amazing in them. So I think she kind of probably is, yeah, she got to be one of my top style icons, really, you know.
Yeah. You've been quoted as saying hair is an important tool for expressing ourselves and how we feel. How do you feel about your hair, your facial hair? Tell me about that.
Well, I don't have any hair, but I never had a
But you
complex.
do, but you shave it.
Yeah, but I don't have much. I mean, I don't have any on top. I never had a complex about losing my hair. I had the
Yeah.
best hair. My hair was down to here. I know I had feather cuts, perms, pink hair, blue. I had the whole thing. I had the
And did you do
longest
that?
hair in school when I was a teenager. I had a really good head of dark, Celtic dark hair, poker straight, and I loved it. But I lost it gradually. I didn't lose it. I mean, I feel for people who suddenly lose their hair in their early 20s, but mine didn't really go to my late 30s. And I remember when I knew it was really going, I bleached it for a year. And I thought, I'm going to enjoy this, you know, and I loved that. It was
Last
great.
hurrah.
Oh, it was just great. Yeah,
All of those other styles that you were talking about, you know, the pink,
yeah,
the
yeah.
perm. Did you do any of that yourself on
Yeah, I used
yourself?
to, well, because I mean, it was before I was a hairdresser, so and you couldn't really buy crazy colors. So what we used to use is we used to bleach it because my friend was a hairdresser, so she'd bleach it, and we'd buy a set of felt tip pens and squeeze them out and put
No.
that. Yeah, but if you got caught in the rain, which it did a lot in Scotland, it ran down your collar, you know. But we loved it. We thought we looked great, you know, yellow collars and all, blue collars and all.
Oh, I love the idea of that. You work on shows of some of the best brands and designers in the world. Do you think you ever adapt your style to the designer you're working with?
No, no, I wear what I feel like wearing that day, you know. To be honest, yeah, no, I
How about when you were attending the royal tresses? Did you feel the need to be a little bit more formal?
it would depend if it was just at Kensington Palace in the morning and it was a hot July day, I'd wear a pair of shorts, you know. But if at the beginning I wore a tie, and then I can't, you know, then I kind of quickly
I saw
discarded
some
that.
pictures of
Yeah,
you
but
wearing
I
a
think
tie.
if we were at a function or if there were going to be dignitaries around, I would be respectful. I was a big Levi 501s wearer back in the day, and I'd usually have a pair of jeans on or a pair of chinos, and I would wear. I still have a nice collection of Hermes ties, and you know, but I liked wearing a tie, and you know, I mean, I do occasionally like wearing a tie. So, I mean, yeah, I think I'm a respectful dresser, if that makes sense.
Talking Hermes,
Yeah,
I know you're a keen gardener. I have
yeah.
this vision of you in an Hermes leather apron
Oh
in your
no, no,
garden.
no, 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 no.
What's the gardening
What's
kit?
the gardening kit? God, I'm probably saying the wrong word. A gilet, and I've got a sort of tool belt, and yeah, I'm quite often out there in the summer in my boxer shorts and
And the tool
bare
belt.
bare feet. Yeah, I mean, I love bare feet. I love not having shoes on.
The
No, that's
old
great.
earthing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah,
It is amazing,
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it? In 2023, you were awarded an MBE. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What did you wear to the palace?
I wore a Dries Van Noten suit, which I bought in a sale. I mean, most of my stuff I would I I'm not a fan of paying full price for anything. I'll buy stuff on sale. I love Comme des Garçons but I always wait for the sale, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wore a Dries Van Noten suit and I think a Comme des Garçons tie.
Well, congratulations. I always think that as human beings, and particularly in the fashion world, we're all a little guilty of sizing people up when we first meet them, especially by what they're wearing. Is this something you're conscious of? Do you look at someone's whole look, or do you find yourself looking at someone's hair?
I don't look at the hair usually. I think I probably over the years developed an automatic switch off where people think that I would be looking at the hair, and I don't want them to think that. So I generally don't, unless it's to do, because when I'm not in work mode, I'm not really looking. I'm not looking.
Yeah.
But if I'm in work mode, or you sit in front of me, or unless your hair is really bad, then I may offer some advice, you know. But I don't want to really be presumptuous like that. But I think we're definitely. I mean, I definitely. It's all about images.
Yeah.
That's first impression is lasting impression, as they say. And I think, yeah, I tend to have a look at the shoes. Yeah, I tend to have a look at the shoes. Scuffed, dirty shoes.
So is it more about the cleanliness of the shoe, or is it the statement of the shoe?
It depends, but I think a scuffed, dirty, like horrible, uncared for shoe, I think can probably tell a lot about a person. And there's a difference between scuffed, dirty, uncared for than scuffed, dirty, deliberate.
Golden goose.
Do you know what I mean?
How would you describe your style in 3 words?
Oh, probably eclectic. Bold, timeless.
I always think that men get more distinguished as they get older and suit their lines. Would you, I'm not saying you've got lines, Sam, but would you ever consider any form of age prevention, Botox or...
Oh, I do a bit of Botox now and again. I mean, I used to do it here because it tightened here, but now it's kind of too far gone. But men have the luxury of beards, so it's fine. But you know what? Some of my friends were trying to get me to have a hair transplant, and I'm like, you know what? No. I mean, that would just be ridiculous to me to turn up like this. But I would consider a sort of half facelift. The wrinkles I don't mind. It's this.
It's the jaw.
It's the jowl. The under, and there's nothing really you can do about that. But I think, yeah, a bit of Botox is fine. You know, I don't mind a wrinkle or two. I mean, do you know what? I have good skin. I mean, I'm not bad. I'm, you know, well into my 69th year, so I'm okay. I'm all right. But I'm too much of a coward to do a facelift.
Yeah.
You know, I just think, oh God.
You look like you look after your skin really well.
I have good skin. I have psoriasis, so I have it in my fingernails. I have a little spot behind me, but since I had COVID, it disappeared. But my skin is. I'm lucky. I have quite good skin.
With you, obviously working with the hair so much, are you very conscious of how your hands look?
I am, but I have little short, stubby sausage fingers with a bit of arthritis and psoriasis of my fingernails, and I had to get over myself about that. You know.
Do you ever have a manicure?
I did. Do you know what? I have a manicure at work sometimes, and I had one a couple of weeks ago, and because what people think I bite my nails, but I don't. My nails flake off because of the psoriasis, so I clip them down. You know, because otherwise it's not nice doing people's hairy nails flaking off. So I clip them down, and this lady gave me a manicure, and I noticed that my nails were the best they've been for many, many, many years. Because so I didn't clip them down so much, and actually they were okay, and they didn't flake off. So I think they might be. I don't know if they'll get better, but yeah. I do have a manicure sometimes.
Spinning back to your wardrobe, how much do you plan your looks? I'm always fascinated by how much men think about their clothes in terms of, because I think women think about their clothes a lot. Do men think about their clothes as much?
I don't plan anything really, unless I've got a big event coming up. I need to see if my tuxedo fits me, which it actually doesn't, so I need to get a new one. But I tell you what I find difficult at the moment. I have a lot of clothes. I had even more clothes. I had 9 wardrobe boxes that followed me around everywhere I've ever lived. And the last move, I thought, no, we can't do this. And they were full of Gautier, Com, and a lot of Vivienne Westwood, because I've worked with Vivienne for many, many years. And I had a lot of pieces made in 3-piece suits from the women's fabrics in the 90s. I still had all of those. And they were beautiful, beautiful pieces. They were incredible. And I sold them all at auction a few years ago at Kerry Taylor's.
Interesting.
And gave half the money to Vivienne's charity and half the money to Beauty Banks, which are a charity set up by a friend of mine. And that felt really good. It felt really, really good that because they were all in these boxes, and it was time for somebody to have them. Yeah.
Out of interest, did you sell them as yours?
Yeah.
What? How brilliant!
I did, and I still have too many clothes, and I this is one of my tasks for the winter, when the in the dark rainy days, I'm gonna go through the wardrobes and get rid of a load of stuff that I don't wear, and give them away.
Yeah.
Stuff that doesn't fit. I don't wear it. I haven't worn it for 5 years. There will be some things I keep, but I need a big old clean out.
Quite cathartic.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
You travel a lot. Do you have a particular look that you reach for again and again to travel in?
Uniqlo sweatpants or Lululemon shorts, depending on the season. And I'll have I think we've got J. Crew sort of safari jacket thing, and I'll have and a Fred Perry and sometimes a sweatshirt in my bag. Easy travel stuff.
What luggage do you use?
I use Tumi.
Are you a good packer?
I use Tumi, and I use a Japanese brand called Porter. And some of they're soft bags, and they're like flight jackets. They're nylon with the orange inside. And some of those bags I've had for 20 odd years, and they're incredible.
That's sustainable.
It's amazing.
Would you say you're a good packer?
Sometimes. I went to Sicily to a wedding at the weekend, and I took far too many clothes. I mean, because I wasn't quite sure about the weather. I didn't know, and that was ridiculous. But
that's so refreshing to hear, because I always
Yeah.
think men are sort of much more edited about their packing.
no, I was really bad on this one. Usually I am, but I was bad on this one. So yeah.
Do you have a favourite brand or tailor that you revert to again and again?
I've never had a suit made. I would probably like to do that.
Who do you think you'd go to?
I don't know. I need to research that. I don't know, because I have quite a long waist and short legs. So off the peg stuff, I always have to have altered. I do love a Dries Van Noten suit, and I've got some old Margiela suits that I love. But I've never had a suit tailored. I would love to do that.
I think it must be the most incredible experience,
Yeah.
that whole Savile
Yeah.
Row.
Yeah.
To be done,
It
Sam.
may be expensively addictive, though, right?
I think the cut, if the cut is good,
Of course, that's what I
it's
mean.
transformative.
Yeah,
It's
there'd be no going back. would there?
transformative
Yeah,
to
yeah,
your body,
yeah,
your
yeah,
shape,
yeah,
and then your posture changes
yeah.
to a degree,
Yeah.
I think.
I don't wear formal things very much. I'm much more. It's about comfort for me. I'm much more at ease in a nice wool or cashmere sweater and a sort of bright colored shirt, or, you know, it is about ease. But as I've got older, I really like a bold color or a bold pattern, you know,
Interesting.
or a bold, you know, a little hint of something, you know.
Yeah. Did you ever justify anything expensive as a pounds per wear?
I've got a Montclair jacket. It's not the puffer jacket. It's more of it looks more like an old Prada thing. It's nylon,
Technical.
and it's like a policeman's jacket with the four, you know, almost Barbara like, and it is the warmest thing. I've had it. I must have had it for God almost 20 years, and it's still my winter coat because I've never found. I'm always looking for a replacement, and I've never found one to replace it. So it keeps coming out.
Do you feel like you need to replace it in this?
Yeah, it's just starting to wear around the edge. But it's been the most incredible thing, and I remember thinking at the time it was quite expensive at the time, and thinking, it's a lot of money. Hello,
Good value.
really good value. Yeah.
On the point of value and values, what's your approach to sustainable fashion?
Yeah, great. But it's does it work? Does it do the job? Does it last? Can you get the colors? I mean, fashion by its nature isn't sustainable, you know, because it's about renewal, isn't it? You know, I think it's all about everyone doing their part. I mean, I'm as guilty as everyone about buying a $7.99 shirt from H&M, but having said that, that $7.99 shirt from H&M I've had for 10 years. You know, I'm not one for buying something knowing I'm only going to wear it once. You know, when I was a teenager, you would never buy something that you could only wear once. It just was not in your mindset. But it's about changing mindsets, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say is the oldest piece in your wardrobe?
I still, you know, I did a TV show last year on Channel 4, and I wore all my own clothes, and I took a few in for the wardrobe to sort of look at, and they picked some things out, and I put one of the shirts on, and I said, do you know how old this is? And I said, this is probably 30 years old, this shirt, you know, and I still wear it, you know, and that's kind of, that gives me great pleasure.
Would you say you look after your clothes and
I do,
accessories
I
well?
do look after them, yeah, I do.
All beautifully laid out.
Oh, maybe not so beautifully, but they're all hanging up. They're all, some of the stuff that I need to protect is in plastic bags with, you know, moth repellents and that kind of thing. You know, I'm quite fastidious with the moth repellents. But yeah, I do. I think this is why I want to get rid of a load of stuff, because the wardrobes are getting too packed, so they're all getting squashed, and I know that something's need to go here.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just not kind on clothes, and it is a...
But you have an emotional attachment to them sometimes. You have this. I've got two cashmere and Marc Jacobs jumpers that I've had that I bought in Century 21 in New York in the 90s.
Yeah.
And they're never going to fit me again. But they're there because I wore them a lot, and they're amazing. But there's a few things I need to let go of.
Do you have any pieces in your wardrobe that have particular sentimental value attached to them?
I have some Hermes ties that I wore on on formal occasions with Princess Diana, and I have one from the first day I met her, which I'm wearing in a picture with her that Patrick took, and I still have that. So yes, I do.
Would you ever frame it or do something with it to just sort of mark the moment?
No, I never. I don't know. That might be a little weird. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Right, let's turn to some quick fire questions.
Okay.
What fashion advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
Keep going. Absolutely. You're doing the right thing.
Which fashion trend would you most like to see make a comeback?
None. I don't want to see fashion trends. I want to see people doing their own thing.
Views on tattoos?
I don't have any tattoos. And I struggle to see the beauty in over tattooing.
High end or high street?
High end.
Sports luxe or rock and roll?
Rock and roll.
Savile
Do you know
Row-
what? No, I take that back. A mix of both. Sports and roll.
Sports and roll. Love that. Savile Row or jeans?
It would have to be jeans.
But about to be Savile Row.
Maybe.
Maybe. Cargos or chinos?
Chinos.
Double-breasted or single-breasted?
Single.
Trend or style?
Style.
Colour or monochrome?
Colour.
Pattern or plain?
Bit of both.
Hoarder or editor?
Or hoarder.
Charity shop or resale?
Charity shop.
Boxers or briefs?
Briefs. Boxer briefs. Boxer briefs.
Budgie smugglers or board shorts?
Board shorts.
Beanie or baseball cap?
Definitely beanie.
Finally, one last question at the end of the day. What do you or don't you wear in bed?
I wear a pair of boxer shorts in bed just in case there's a fire.
Sam, what fun to sit here with you on this particularly noisy day and have this wonderful conversation about all things style and fashion. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Great fun.